I swear to God, if I see another shovel pass to Dallas Goedert for a touchdown, I'm going to flip out, man. Welcome on into another edition of Wingman Fantasy Football, the League podcast. I'm your host, Michael Furley, and as always, I'd like to thank all of you, or any of you, who may be watching or listening to today's show. It is Friday, October 10th. This is episode 174, and we are doing a Week 6 preview. And it's my great pleasure to welcome back to the bar, Mr. Bernie, a.k.a. Team B.
I'm Cuban B. Yes, Cuban B.
Hey, how you doing today, Bernie?
I am doing all right. It's good to be back at the bar here with you, Mike. Thanks for taking control for a little bit, or not taking control, but running the ship solo, and great job, Austin.
All right. Thank you. All right, guys, we have a jam-packed episode for you guys today. We'll start off by setting the slate for this weekend's prime time and island games. We'll check in on some player news and practice reports, check in on the activity of our waiver wire. We'll also preview our featured NFL games as selected by you, the audience, and we'll go over this week's matchups in the Wingman Fantasy Football League. We'll also see the newest power rankings from our RSN index, and we'll also let you in on our starts of the week. We'll be graced with another installment of a fourth and long with Bernie, and we grab our controllers as we finish out phase number 2 of the Wingman Jam. And at the end of the show, we will dive into a mailbag segment. But before we do any of that, let's make sure that everybody is in the room. Wingmen assemble! All right, now that everyone is here, all right, let's set the slate for this weekend's prime time and island games. But before we actually get into those games, I want to remind you that we do have 2 teams on bye this week. The Minnesota Vikings and Houston Texans are both off, so there will be no Justin Jefferson and no Nico Collins and no Jordan Mason this week. So get them out of your lineup. They're not playing this week. All right, now for our primetime game. Starting off on Thursday night with the Philadelphia Eagles soaring over to Jersey to take on those New York Giants at 8:15 p.m. Also, there's an early game once again this Sunday morning as the Denver Broncos take on the New York Jets in North London at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And the Sunday night game has a huge matchup between preseason Super Bowl favorites as the Detroit Lions are prowling the prairies to take on the Kansas City Chiefs at 8:20 p.m. And don't forget, guys, Monday night, once again, we have a doubleheader, starting off with the Buffalo Bills stampeding their way down to Atlanta to take on the Falcons at 7:15 p.m., and the Chicago Bears rumbling their way into the nation's capital to take on the Washington Commanders at 8:15 p.m. All right, Bernie, we're going to be honest here with our viewers here. We're saying this Friday morning, but we're here. The Thursday night game just ended. We had some players in there. We'll get into which managers have which players, but what are you thinking about this Thursday night game between the Eagles and the Giants?
I think it was a huge upset. I think that the offensive line for the Eagles really let their team down. The Giants did a great job. The Giants scored pretty much at will.
Almost every time, yeah.
Yeah, but the Eagles' offensive line, Jalen Hurts didn't have any time back there to get anything going, and the running game obviously was also stifled.
All right, let's see. Getting past that Thursday night game here, which of these other Sunday morning games, Sunday night games, and Monday night doubleheader ones catch your attention the most?
Well, obviously, in the Atlanta area, so that Atlanta game is a pretty big game, but I'm really wanting to watch this Detroit KC game. KC's coming alive. That offense is looking like KC of old. Once they start getting all their pieces healthy and back, this might be a very, very, very dangerous offense, and you definitely want a piece of it for fantasy. But they're going against Detroit, so maybe it'll be like 50-52. I don't know.
I'm kind of sneakily interested in the Chicago Bears against the Commanders. I think this one has a chance to be a pretty high-scoring affair to close out week number 6.
Yeah, hope so.
All right, now for the Thursday night game, we had 7 NFL players in our managers' lineups to kick off the week. Starting off with yours truly, had A.J. Brown in his lineup. The Fantastics had Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith in his lineup. Red Sox Nation went with the often stuffed Saquon Barkley. Don't forget, he has a documentary coming out tonight. Watch it right after their loss. Cubert's Rage had the kicker, Jake Elliott, in his lineup. And King George, well, before we get to King George, we have May Daddy 2's put back in his lineup the New York Giants defense, who gave him a 0 last week. And King George put in Cam Scattaboo in her lineup.
I'm a scat man. Bee-ba-ba-ba-da-boo. Ba-ba-ba-da-boo. Skibbity-bitty-doo-doo-doo-doo. Doo-doo-doo-doo.
Do you know who King George is playing this week, Bernie?
Yeah, she's playing Team B. Yeah, it's okay though, because Team B is used to getting scored on Thursday night games. Cam Scatterby put up a 30 burger. He was the highest scoring player of tonight's affair.
So that's back-to-back weeks. You had Kyron Williams last week and Cam Scatterbo this week, getting your opponent off to a hefty start the week. But there's a lot of players left, and you have a lot of great players on your team. So we'll see how this shakes out by the end of the week.
Yeah, it'll be okay.
All right. Now for some player news. Starting off with players who were for the Giants and Eagles who may or may not be in or out. We had Darius Slayton was ruled out as he's dealing with, I believe, is a hamstring injury, so he did not play. Tyrone Tracy made it back after missing the last 2 games, and we thought it might be a 50-50 share with Scattaboo, but as we've already indicated, that was not the case, at least in terms of production. But Tyrone Tracy was back on the field, and Saquon Barkley returned to a full practice after getting limited practices earlier in the week. He was active, he did play, and he was stuffed. And we had Amarian Hampton, rookie running back for the Chargers, kind of sneakily got banged up last week, left the game in a boot, and then was placed on the IR. He is going to be out for the next 4 weeks. Not sure if he's going to be out any longer than that, but the big-time running back for the Chargers is not going to play from week 6 till week 9, I guess that is. So what do you have on these guys here? The Giants that did and didn't play. Saquon Barkley did get in but got stuffed. And Amarian Hampton, this is a big loss for the Chargers and for some of our fantasy managers.
Yeah, I'm just going to skip over this game. I'm going to go straight to Hampton. That IR designation creates a little bit of chaos in the Chargers backfield. I would avoid all Chargers running backs except in desperation. I think that once he's off of IR, he's going to come back and fill that role. There won't be any committee problems. There won't be any like, oh, but this guy's got the hot hand. He'll come back. He'll fill the spot. So that's how I feel about that.
All right, moving along here, we've got Joe Flacco, Uncle Joe. Not only was he traded from Cleveland to Cincinnati, I believe it was Tuesday, but he has also now been named the starter for Week 6 as the Cincinnati Bengals are taking on the Packers this week. Staying in that same division, the AFC North, and another quarterback, Lamar Jackson, has yet to practice this week, and it's looking more and more likely that he will not play, missing his 2nd consecutive game. Keep in mind the Ravens do have a bye in Week 7, so it makes all the sense in the world to have him miss this game to get a 2-for-1 break. And Alec Pierce, who missed the last 2 games with a concussion, has returned to a full practice, and it looks like he will get back onto the field.
Yeah, so Flacco is a slight upgrade for it's a slight upgrade for Higgins. He's still kind of a boomer bust wide receiver 3. Bless you. Chase remains must start wide receiver 1. As far as Lamar Jackson goes, I would just pivot to whoever you have as your backup QB, and I would fade all Ravens offensive weapons. Pierce, I would have a backup plan ready. His Friday practice is really going to be critical.
Yeah, the Colts have been pretty predictable in that with Pierce as the third receiver being out, we had Adonai Mitchell step in and have a good game minus his mental blunder there. But without that, he would have had a huge game with filling in for Pierce. And then as Adonai Mitchell got kind of benched because of that mistake, Ashton Doolin had a decent game as well in his stead. So Alec Pierce should step right back into number 3 receiver in terms of an NFL team production, and always has a chance for a long bomb catch.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving along to our dedicated segment here of the San Francisco 49ers. Brock Purdy has been sitting out practice all week. He seemed to re-aggravate his toe injury during the Week 4 loss to the Jaguars. There is no indication by the team that he will be placed on the IR. However, there's also no clarity of when he may return, as he says he doesn't want to come back until he's 100% to try and avoid another re-aggravation, which means As far as Bernie's concerned, the best quarterback on the 49ers, Mac Jones, will make his third start, but he too is dealing with an array of injuries, including dry heaves and losing his pants on the field. Jawan Jennings has returned to a limited practice on Thursday. After missing last week, he is still going to be listed as questionable, probably going to be a game time decision, but I think he's trending towards a return, but definitely keep an eye on that Sunday morning quickie show to get a little more updated and a little more clarity. Also, we're staying in San Francisco here. Ricky Pearsall has not practiced this week, and it's looking more and more likely that he is going to miss his second consecutive game. And George Kittle, who was placed on the IR after a week 1 injury, had his 21-day practice window opened. However, he has not been activated from the IR as of yet. They have till Saturday, I believe 4 o'clock, to have him ready for week 6. But all reports are saying that he will not be ready for week 6 and are hopeful for a week 7 return. All right, go. I unleash you on all the San Francisco commentary you want to go to here.
All right, here we go. Hot take here. Drop Purdy in shallow leagues. I think all 49ers pass catchers have a slight downgrade, but they're still startable. I would say that Jawan Jennings, he's probably trending as a wide receiver 1. I'm sorry. No, I take that back. A shaky wide receiver 4 with Mac Jones at quarterback. So I would monitor that. Ricky Pearsall, I would bench even if he's active. I think Bourne and Robinson are going to absorb a lot of his targets. And then George Kittle, obviously I would hold in all the formats. Stream Jake Tungus as a tight end too if you need tight end play. And then just monitor Kittle, like you said, for week 7.
So, yeah, I would say Mac Jones definitely has his favorite receiver in Kedrick Bourne, who is a teammate of his with New England, as he just keeps hitting him on those seam routes with the same part of the field over and over again, just right down the hash marks down the middle of the field there. And he just hits them over and over again at various depths on the routes here. All right, moving along here. CeeDee Lamb has yet to practice, and it looks like he is going to miss another week. He's probably going to miss week 6. I think this will make his 3rd consecutive miss, if I'm not mistaken. Mike Evans, in the same boat, dealing with a hamstring injury, hasn't practiced this week, and looks like he will miss his 3rd week. Bucky Irving, right now they're saying he might need a couple more weeks. So this has been very unclear with his injury, and it went from an ankle, foot to now a shoulder. This guy is banged up. Rashad White stepped in quite nicely this past week, and it looks like he's going to have another week or 2 to have the backfield to himself, or at least a split with Sean Tucker. We'll finish out here with the rest of the Buccaneers here, as they, like you said, the similar color to the San Francisco 49ers, and their infirmary rate is getting to be about the same. Chris Godwin, this one's very interesting, guys. He missed 1 day of practice last week, but did play. But he has yet to practice this week. Each week, he's getting less and less practice. I don't know that it's going to mean he's going to miss this week, but now you definitely have to keep an eye out, have backup plans ready to go, as Chris Godwin is not a lock to play in week 6. But again, check on that Sunday morning quickie show we provide for you early Sunday morning, and we'll have a little more clarity by then. All right, CeeDee Lamb's out again, and our Buccaneers, we got a lot of guys who are probably going to miss.
Yeah, with Lamb, obviously George Pickens is going to be your go-to there. I would bench Lamb though until confirm active. That's a no-brainer. Mike Evans, this is his Ibuka. He's obviously emerged as wide receiver 1. I would hold Evans. I don't obviously expect a return until week 7 and 8. Bucky Irving. Let's see. What do we think about Bucky here? Rashad White, he's probably going to be he's going to be your strong RB2 flex play while Irving is sidelined. I don't think anybody else is going to step into that role as of now. And Chris Godwin, I would fade probably as a wide receiver 4 until production improves. So he's not even going to get into a flex spot until you can see something come out of him, and then more practice than not. So I need a good game and then practice after that good game.
I would say in terms of options here for the Bucks, Sterling Shepard, he's a solid kind of play when he needs to step up here. But Cade Otton is almost like your automatic handcuff type of player. When these guys are out, Mike Evans specifically, but when it's Mike Evans plus, Cade Otton becomes super relevant. He had I'm not sure the number of catches, but he finally had like 81 yards on like 5 catches last week when Godwin was not effective and Evans was out. So if you need a tight end player, even a flex play, Cade Otton becomes goes from irrelevant when these guys are healthy to super relevant when any number of these players miss.
Yeah. So we'll keep our ears on the ground for any trades or practice squad guys coming up. But for now, it's a little bit little tricky over there. Running back and quarterback are really the only two must start positions.
All right, guys, this is kind of stinky news as we might have a bust this year. We have Brock Bowers continues to miss practice. His week 6 availability is in serious doubt. He had that little knee, I won't say little, but he had a knee injury in week 1 where he kind of played through it kind of half and half, but then he I don't know if he missed a week or not. Anyway, he's been banged up. We thought he was getting healthier, but obviously he is not right. He's going to need, I don't know how much time, but he's going to need a steady amount of time off in a row to have a potential to get back to full strength. He can't play through this injury without having any setbacks. So Brock Bowers isn't looking like he's not going to play this week, and he may not play next week after already missing last week. I know it's a little roundabout way to get through a 3-week absence here, but there's potential Bowers is going to miss up to 3 weeks in a row here. Kyler Murray sat out practice on Wednesday, but he did return to a limited practice here on Thursday as he's dealing with a foot injury. Keep in mind that some of the chatter here, unless I got that wrong, I thought he had a limited practice today. There is some chatter, though, that Jacoby Brissett obviously is the backup, and some of the receivers, Marvin Harrison in particular, is like, I think I could play with that guy, being that he's not being targeted hardly at all with Kyler Murray for a multitude of reasons, but he might like the steady hand of Brissett. Keep in mind, follow the news again, that Sunday morning quickie for Kyler Murray. With the limited practice on Thursday, he's probably going to play, but just keep an eye on that one. And let's see. Christian Watson has been designated to return from the PUP list. He's his 21-day practice window has been activated, or been opened rather. He has not yet been activated, but he has been getting limited practices. I think he's going to play this week, but if he doesn't play this week, he's all but assured to play by week 7. All right, let's just stop right here with Brock Bowers. This is a tough blow. Kyler Murray is trending in the right direction, but keep an eye out. And Christian Watson, I think he's coming back this week. If not this week, then week 7.
Yeah, well, Brock Bowers, that's a real tough one there. What was he drafted? Was he drafted in the first or second round? Second round, yeah. So I would still hold him in all formats. Michael Mayer, be possible streaming tight end 2 if cleared from concussion, if you need a tight end play. Kyler Murray, like you said, Jacoby Brissett, he's going to be the start if Kyler sits. Versus the Colts, which is a tough defense to play against. So that's a little bit concerning there. Christian Watson, I would stash him maybe. He's going to be a deep threat. So I would obviously wait. I wouldn't pay money for him. But I'm sorry, I wouldn't wait too long if you're interested in getting him. I would go ahead and stash him in all formats.
While we're here, I know I was talking about Christian Watson quite a bit, being that he was lingering on a return, the whole time here. Now that it's here, we do have to keep in mind that is a muddled receiver room. We never know who's going to go. Sometimes it's Dobbs with a big game. Other time, we saw Matthew Golden has yet to have a true breakout. Let's just talk about those 3 guys. Unless I'm missing, you can even put Tucker Kraft in there. Golden, Kraft, Watson, assuming he's full to go here, and Dobbs. How would you rank those receivers? It's kind of hard to get those guys straight.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the thing. I personally have Romeo Doubs on a team, and I can't figure out when to play him. I don't know. I don't know the tendencies for Jordan Love. I don't know how each of them fit into a game script. I can't break that analyst down. So I put them all at the same level, and I would say if you have one of them and it's a good defense to play against, just go ahead and start them. But I wouldn't put one terribly ahead of the other. Maybe Golden ahead of all of them, but Romeo is got more veteran savviness, I guess. So maybe him ahead of it. It's really tough to tell. It's a hard situation. But you know what I had to say, though? It's a better situation than I thought it was going to be at the beginning of the year. At the beginning of the year, I didn't want any part of Green Bay's wide receiver room. So it's getting better, but it's too hard to predict.
So it sounds like the worst thing to have is multiples of them on your team. You're better off. Four managers have one of them, and whenever that bye week comes up, throw one in.
Exactly. If you've got more than one Green Bay wide receiver, you're doing something wrong. Don't have more than one.
All right, moving along here with Alvin Kamara. was limping a little bit during the last game here, and he popped up on the injury list with an ankle injury. He has been getting in limited practice, however, and should be okay to play in week 6, although the snap count has been trending more to a 50-50 between him and Kendra Miller. So just keep that in mind. Even if he is healthy, they're starting to cede some work to the younger back. Terry McLaurin, every Monday through Wednesday, it's like there's optimism he'll be back. And then Thursday and Friday come along, and he's out once again. So Terry McLaurin is not expected to play this week. It is a Monday night game, so they do have a couple extra days to get this squared away. So that's why he's not ruled out yet. They'll probably do that on Friday night or Saturday morning. But it's all likelihood is that Terry McLaurin is going to miss another game. Excuse me. And this one, Chuba Hubbard has still not practiced as he deals with I believe a calf injury. Yeah, I believe it's a calf injury, but Hubbard has not been in practicing. We saw what Rico Dowdle did last week to the Miami Dolphins. I like the matchup for the Carolina Panthers, although I'm a little nervous. Can Rico Dowdle, who doesn't get that much work, he's got to be exhausted after running all those yards against the Dolphins last week. But it looks like he's going to get another start more than likely, and against his former team, the Dallas Cowboys. So that might be a decent play here. How many players do we have left on this news? All right, let's just finish this out here. We got Dalton Kincaid has been sporting a non-contact jersey as he deals with an oblique injury. There's not really any indication whether or not he's expected to play or not. I'm assuming if he's practicing at all that he will. And Tua Tagovailoa popped up with multiple injuries, including a hip and a thumb injury. However, he did log in a full practice on Thursday and should be good to go. All right, we got Kamara. I lost my screen. McLaurin. Hubbard looks like he's out again. Kincaid and Tua.
And Rico Dowdle. Don't forget Rico Dowdle. So
I'm saying, if Hubbard doesn't play, Rico Dowdle's a smash.
Yeah. So Alvin Kamara, you said it. Kendra Miller, he's the handcuff. Pick up if you're concerned, but he should be fine. Kamara should be fine to play. Terry McLaurin, Deebo Samuel's your wide receiver 2. He gets a little bump. The guy I've been talking about, and I just don't have room on my bench to pick him up and stash him, but Luke McCaffrey, Jalen Lane, they're flexes, they're dart throws if McLaurin sits. So if you're desperate, get one of those guys. He's already got a nickname, man. He's LMC here. So Chuba Hubbard, hold in all formats, but expect timeshare when he's healthy. Rico Dowdle, this for me, he's a sell high candidate before Hubbard returns because it's going to be the committee that forms. But he's an RB2 flex this week only for me. Dalton Kincaid, start with confidence. He's leading the Bills in receiving, so I don't have an issue with Dalton Kincaid. And then Tua, I don't have an issue with Tua. I'd start him as a QB1, a streamer if you need a streaming QB option. He's had 17.5 average points the last 4 games or so. So just monitor the hip throughout the rest of the.
All right, guys, it is now time to move in to see the activity of our waiver wire for the Wingman Fantasy Football League. And this is nuts, guys. With some embarrassment coming here. All right, we had 7 waiver bids this week for 5 NFL players. A very light week, surprisingly enough, with 2 players receiving multiple bids. And our highest price acquisition of the week was Kamani Vidal, who went to Amazing Spidey. That was me for $27. And man, that was the perfect bid as there were no other bids. There were no other bids for Kamani Vidal. What the heck? I told you I'm on tilt. I've got no running backs. I'm putting him in the starting lineup. And that might even not be the right play here. But Kamani Vidal went to Amazing Spidey for $27.
You paid too much. You
trying to play
paid
it like
too
10
much.
times. There it is. I don't know how to do it. You paid way too much. Anyway, so all right, let's just stop here real quick. First of all,
It's
regardless
okay.
of the price, what do you think about regardless of the Charger, the particular Charger? We have the Chargers playing against Miami this week. We just saw what Rico Dowdle did. I know it's a different team. That seems like a decent type of streaming play to go for, in my opinion, trying to get a desperation player is picking up a Charger running back this week against the Dolphins. Am I incorrect in that thinking?
No, I think you just picked the wrong Charger.
Yeah, you think so?
Well, no, this is my thought on this. I think that Haskins is the short-term play and Vidal is the long-term play. So I think you paid the right amount if you're going to keep him. But I think once Amarian gets back, it's his job. So I don't think it's going to be a committee. So I think Vidal has the long-term upside for the time that Hampton is out, but I think Haskins is the instant play. I think Haskins is going to have the bigger game out of the box this week.
So just because this is interesting to me, and I want to flesh this out a little bit, because this is kind of the question people had. Like, it's like last week with Amari DiMercato and Michael Carter. Michael Carter was a practice squad guy, and due to the play styles, now these guys don't have different play styles, but I'm just saying the practice squad guy got elevated and was the starter over the established guy who had his role for the Cardinals the previous week here. So the difference are what's the style of play these guys are, but the thing that's the same is that Vidal was the practice squad guy who might jump him. But I will say this, there's been the only report I saw today, which actually made me feel a little better, not great, it's like the coping way here, was that the coach, Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator, actually, I'm going to update real quick. I got a little news here. Arizona Cardinals, Kyler Murray did not practice this week. I said was limited today. He did not practice, so keep an eye on that as well. I just want to make sure. I was kind of a little iffy if he practiced on Thursday or not. He has not yet practiced. Doesn't mean he is or isn't going to play, but just saying there hasn't been any positive trend there. Okay, getting back to my previous thought here with the Chargers. The report here, from the offensive coordinator, Greg Roman, said they are both going to see work in a shared role, which is not awesome. But being that after the waivers ran through, we're like, did I pick the wrong guy? Did I pick the backup and the other guy's going to start? It seems like they're both going to play, which at this point I will take, being that it could have been worse. But anyway, so
no, I think I think you're fine. I think you're good, and you're right. They're both going to play. But I think Haskins, just for this game, is going to have the upside because of who he is. And like you said, because Vidal's coming off of the practice squad. But I think that Vidal will have the long term because he might be the more versatile back when it comes to their situation.
All right, moving along here. Christian Watson was picked up this week for $3, and the only other bid was from yours truly, Amazing Spidey, who put in a $0 bid. So Christian Watson went to Lion Eyes for $3. Joe Flacco went to yours. I was very busy because I'm desperate, got a lot of losses, and I need some help. I picked up Joe Flacco for $1 this week. I don't know why. I just feel like with all these quarterback injuries that I could maybe trade away a Herbert or Drake May and still have a decent streaming guy on the roster. That's kind of my thought process there. Hassan Haskins, the other guy, went for $1. And the only other bid that went to, $1 today took our jobs. And the only other bid was from yours truly at $0. So I put 27 in on Vidal, 0 on Haskins. I wish you could pick, when you do your waiver priority, it automatically puts the person with your highest price pick as number one. I wish you could pick no matter which one. So I'd rather have this guy at $4 than this guy at $30. Kind of thing. You know what I mean? I'll take this guy. If I can't get this guy at 4, I'll take this guy at 30, but I'd rather have the cheaper guy, but you can't do that. That'd be nice.
That'd be nice. Yeah.
All right. So Haskins went there, and then Chris Boswell went to yours truly. I picked up 3 players this week. Chris Boswell, your old kicker, went to Amazing Spidey for $0. So no big bids this week, except for my bid on Vidal. Everyone had a bid of $3 or less this week. And honestly, I was surprised how few people put bids in as bye weeks are coming up, and there's been a lot of injuries with these running backs, but I guess everyone is pretty settled in and not a desperate player like I am.
Yeah, I mean, there's some people that I've been eyeing, and I honestly, I think Chris Boswell was the steal of that waiver wire report there. I totally forgot that I had dropped him because of the bye and picked up a record. So I would have wanted him back, but you got him. So great job. I have a lot of people, but I don't have any room on my bench. I don't want to get rid of anybody yet.
Because your team's good, Bernie. Your team's good. You've got good players. When you have no good players,
that's why I'm not working the waiver wire. Yeah. Giddens is the only person on my bench, the handcuff for Jonathan Taylor. And for some reason, I'm like, no, why would I trade him out for Luke McCaffrey? I'm not going to start Luke right away.
Right. And darn well the moment you drop Giddens, there's going to be an ankle tweak for. Yeah.
Exactly. So.
All right, guys, it is now time. Yeah, it is now time to preview our 3 featured NFL games for this week as selected by you, the audience. Our first game on the docket. This one's interesting. Both these teams, I didn't put their records up, but they both have winning records. I think they're both 4-1. You could double check me. Seattle Seahawks are traveling to Jacksonville. This is a Sunday game at 1 p.m. The over-under on this one is a solid 47.5. Seattle is a road favorite at -1. So, what do you think on this game just overall here? How high scoring it might be? What do you think about the road favorite?
Okay, so last week you kind of threw me for a loop. Not a loop, but you caught me off guard asking me some questions. So this week I came prepared. Seattle Seahawks, they're 3-2, and the Jags are 4-1. So I think score prediction: Jags 24, Seahawks 20. I think Jacksonville, they enter as what was your line?
I got Seattle at favorite at 1 point, at minus a point.
Okay. So Jacksonville enters here after their stunning upset over Kansas City on Monday night. So I think Seattle, they're coming off their loss to Tampa. So I expect a methodical ground game from both teams, with Seattle's defense holding Jacksonville's run game in check. But Trevor Lawrence, he's going to have the rushing performance that gets them over the edge, just like in Kansas City. Probably a little bit cleaner than what happened in Kansas City.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a close defensive battle. But yeah, Jags 24, Seahawks 20.
So I think this one comes down to Seattle. I think is a very balanced team. So I'm not saying that they only have one side of the ball, but this pretty much comes down to Seattle's offense versus Jacksonville's defense. Jacksonville offense, they're a managing team. They're okay. They get some good big runs sometimes. Even though Lawrence had a good fantasy day, he still didn't look good to me last week. I mean, there's a play now or again that just keeps the chains moving just enough, but the combination of their defense is putting them in such great positions all the time, getting turnovers like crazy. So this one's going to be the battle between this, like I said, Seattle's offense, which Sam Darnold's been great, and the Jacksonville defense has been equally great, if not better. I'm going to give the nod here to the home team, not so much because they're home, but because it's a West Coast traveling East Coast for an early game. That kind of combination of a long road trip. I think Jacksonville, it's pretty much a pick 'em with that 1 point. So I'm going to take Jacksonville. I don't trust Jacksonville overall as a team, but I do trust their defense combined with the long road trip. I'm going with Jacksonville to cover here. I don't really have a good sense on whether it's going to be over or under. Seattle shows they can score, but again, the Jacksonville defense is going to be the deciding factor of where this game goes.
Yeah, I agree. What was the over under here? 47 and a half. Yeah, so I have it slightly under.
All right, let's talk about some fantasy options here. Sam Darnold, he's settled into a streamer now, a quality streamer at this point. He was the highest scoring quarterback last week at 29 plus points. So what do you think about what do you think about Darnold in this matchup? Again, a tough matchup on the road. Is he still a solid streamer, or are we going to fade him completely?
No, I think he's a low end QB2. I wouldn't fade him completely. I think he's gonna have an okay game. He's got limited weapons, but he's got an explosive supporting cast here. So I think they're gonna be fine. As long as he can find his key guys, then he'll be okay. So I'm not worried about Sam.
I know I usually like to stay on one team here real quick, but I am curious, who would you have ranked higher for this week, this matchup, Sam Darnold or Trevor Lawrence?
I might have Trevor a little bit higher as far as fantasy goes.
Really?
Just because of his legs. Yeah, he's got that upside where he can get you a couple of yards and he can get you a touchdown.
I don't trust Trevor for anything, so I'm always going to have
yeah, it's hard. It's hard
Yeah.
the way he plays, but we don't get negative points in our particular league. So I think it'll be a close matchup, but I think that Trevor has the advantage as far as fantasy points.
All right, you have this particular dilemma going back to the Seattle offense here. We got Walker, Texas Ranger. What is his first name? What's his first name?
Kenneth.
It is Kevin. I was going to say Kevin. I was like, that doesn't sound right. Okay, sorry. Kevin Walker, a Texas Ranger, and Zach Charbonnet. They've been kind of doing the thing here where Walker's getting a few more yards, but Charbonnet's more likely to get in the end zone. They're both not getting huge days unless one of them's out. When one's out, the other guy comes out with the big day for the most part, because there's essentially 80 to 110 yards for the running backs as a whole, and one touchdown out there, or 1 and 1.5 touchdowns. So when there's two of them, they split it. When there's one of them, they get 90% of it. So who are you ranking ahead of here between Walker and Charbonnet? And then are you going to play them no matter what? Because they are kind of their ceiling is limited as when they both kind of vulture from each other.
Yeah, one vultures. It's Zach Vulture.
Okay, fair enough.
Is what it is. No, Kenneth Walker is an RB2 for me, and Zach is a flex option for me in a PPR league. Kenneth has got the touchdown upside, but like you said, it only happens when they just don't put Zach in. So Kenneth has got to get the touchdown from like, no closer than 10 to 5 yards in. Once they're 10
Yeah.
to 5 yards in, it's like that touchdown is probably gone for Kenneth. So he's got to get it out there, which is a good thing because if he's scoring those big runs and the touchdown, we're getting some points on top of points here. I am going to go ahead and start Kenneth Walker as my RB2 though. He's going to be in one of my flex spots.
You might have thought I said Kevin, but I said Kenneth. Don't you worry. I said Kenneth Walker. Okay. Anyway, so all right, staying with the receiving options here for Seattle. Jackson Smith and Jigba has been a super stud. Yeah. Now we're going to Cup and Horton. I'm just going to answer my own question. I think they're both stay away from these guys. They're pretty much bottom of your bench drop guys. Maybe hold on to them for potential later, but we're not looking to play Cup or Horton, are we?
No, absolutely not. JSN is the wide receiver 1 with the elite volume. He's currently like a top 5 fantasy wide receiver, I think, and he's consistent. It's consistent target for him.
I don't have his name on the list here, so if I'm throwing you off here, I'm sorry. But AJ Barner's been actually pretty steady. Had 2 touchdowns last week. One of those not random, but last week was tight ends Palooza. Does AJ Barner make the cut in terms of tight ends?
Probably not unless you're desperate. You've got other options. You might have him rostered if you need to have a backup tight end on your league, if you're a tight end specific league, but I wouldn't pay any attention to him.
All right, moving over to the Jacksonville side, Trevor Lawrence. Again, he's a streaming quarterback at best, in my opinion. I think he's under the Sam Darnold range, and Bernie thinks he's just over. So I'm going to guess, based upon where I think a streamer might be, he's going to be anywhere between 13 and 18 kind of thing. And it all depends on what you think the game might go. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that assumption here. So we're not looking to play him. We're looking to try and find other options for sure. But with bye weeks and injuries, would you rather play Flacco or Lawrence? If you had an injury, or if you're Lamar Jackson and Trevor Lawrence, are you looking for a waiver wire streamer, or are you going to stick with Lawrence in that instance?
No, I'm staying with Lawrence. I'm not low on Lawrence. I'm higher probably than most on Lawrence.
Okay. All right, ETN has been he had a little bit of a lower game last week, but again, went against Kansas City. I'm not sure what their rank is this year, but for the last 2.5 years, they've been one of the top run defenses. So that makes sense why ETN would have a down game. But minus last week's game, he's been a big time player for them. Not so much in he's getting volume, but he's breaking at least one long run. It seems like every game in like the fourth quarter to kind of kill it. So he's always a decent play. I think he's earned the right to be a running back too. Again, you can put your opinion on that afterwards. Let's just say with ETN, I think he's earned as an automatic start pending a tough matchup. What do you think about ETN?
I think we could talk about ETN and Bigsby at the same time. I think they're both flex options. I think they're pretty even on the split. Just
to be clear, who'd you say ETN and Tootin? You thinking
Bigsby?
He's with Philly, so.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. Tootin.
Tootin.
Bishop. Yeah. Yes.
That's fine. I just want to make sure.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Okay. No, ETN is good. He's going to have the edge on everything with the passing game because he's got a little bit better option there. He's still a flex option for me. So yeah, RB2 flex in our league, that would be a flex. And then Tootin, obviously he's going to be a stash. I would not start Tootin.
Yeah, it seemed like Tootin was getting after the trade away from Bigsby, he was like, oh, he's going to get some work, and he's kind of been phasing out a little bit the last couple of weeks. So you're definitely going to have to see it 1 or 2 times before you have any confidence putting Tootin back into your deep flex lineups. All right, getting to the receivers here. Brian Thomas has been a dud overall this year. I'm not saying as a player, but as a fantasy output here. He finally had 80 some odd yards this last week. I think it was his highest output in terms of receiving yards. He has scored a touchdown, at least 1, if not 2, in the running game, and surprisingly enough. But in terms of receiving, he's hardly getting anything. And then we have Travis Hunter. I did watch the first half of the last game, and in all fairness, I dozed off as the game was in the middle of the third to late fourth quarter. So I didn't see Hunter's big catch. What do you think about these receivers? And I'm going to give you a little scouting that I noticed from Hunter and the parts that I saw.
So as far as Thomas goes, I think that he's going to be okay. He's probably going to be a wide receiver 3 flex option for me. Hunter probably could move from a wide receiver 3 to wide receiver 2 option for me. But I think the key with him is they just need to play him more. They need to get him more snaps on both sides of the ball. Last week I said that they should probably limit one side if they want to expand on his capability, but I have rethought it. I listened to some people talk about him, and I think that if he gets more snaps, he's going to feed off of it. The more he's in the game, the better he's going to be. He's kind of like that running back that needs the 20 plus touches, and
Okay.
you'll see him explode. He's kind of like that. He just needs to be on the field playing for him to get better and better and better.
All right. So a couple things with Hunter. Once again, I did not see the big 60-yard catch he had that pretty much that had his.
Mm-hmm.
I won't say made his day and that he had a good day, but gave him the chunk of his output here. As far as I noticed, I didn't notice him on defense too much. I didn't stare at them on defense. I thought he was on the field the entire time, the entire first half in terms of offense, minus a couple jumbo packages and big time tight end, settings. I saw him on the field quite a bit. The thing I didn't like is it seemed like he was coming off the snaps and not knowing where to go. I don't know if that was just like he knew it was a run play and wasn't engaging, or knew it was going to be past the left and he was lining up on the right. There were a lot of times where he would take 4 steps and just stop running and wouldn't turn his head either. Like he wasn't doing anything. It was very I don't know what that means. Again, I'm not privy to their strategies or what have you, but even guys that aren't going to get the ball either look to make a block, you do something, and he was just kind of taking 6 steps and stopping without any kind of direction, which kind of made me sour quite a bit. But then they, again, I missed the big catch, but apparently went up and caught a very contested catch in a crowd of people, which is what he's very good at. But the thing that gives him a bump back up, minus that, like you said, maybe getting a big play here gets him engaged. I don't think he's a sourpuss where he does I'm not getting the ball, I'm not going to play. But I think people just sometimes need to feel involved so they're paying attention, not because they're quitting. It's just kind of some people have a human nature that they fade out when they're not involved for whatever reason. But Bretton Strange got put on the IR. That's another one of their main receivers. So now he is the number 2 receiver on this team. There's nobody else. PJ Washington, is a decent receiver. So let's not get rid of him completely. But again, with the absence of Strange, Hunter's got a chance to get a bigger role. I actually had him in my lineup until I got Kamani Vidal, and I could see him having a random good game at any point. I just don't know when. I didn't like what I saw in the play. I do like the opportunity coming forward, and he does have a chance for some big plays. So honestly, you should probably just wait until you see it. But I think he's only going to have 1 or 2 good games. So if you wait till you see it, you're going to miss the chance to get it.
Yeah, it's one of those players. But yeah, he's definitely moving out of that wide receiver 3 into that wide receiver 2 fantasy point option. So I think I didn't see what you saw, but I think I agree. I can agree with everything that you said there.
All right, moving on to our next game here. San Francisco 49ers up against the Tampa Bay Bucks. Both of the infirmary match here. This is a 425 game. They are playing in Tampa Bay. The over-under on this one, and as I have it at 47.5 as well. Tampa Bay is a home favorite at 3 points. Let's just talk about how you think this game is going to go before we get into some of the players. A lot of big-time players missing. Receivers for both sides, and Bucky Irving for Tampa Bay, while Brock Purdy, although you think it's not a downgrade to have Mac Jones in there for the 49ers. How do you think this game is going to go?
So I think the over will hit, and I think the Bucks will win 31-27. So this matchup screams fireworks between the two 4-1 teams here. Baker's coming off of 379 yards and a pair of touchdowns in Seattle, while Mac Jones has been efficient with San Francisco. So I think that getting the ball out quickly to let the playmakers work is what Mac Jones is really needs to do. And I would expect a high scoring affair from Tampa's passing attack featuring the unstoppable Emeka Egbuka. And I think that he could probably outlast Christian McCaffrey's dual threat dominance in this particular game.
Yeah, it's always tough to pick the the spread and or the win for Tampa Bay, as all their games come down to the buzzer, and literally if they miss a kick, they miss one or two kicks, their season's completely reversed. So it's really hard to pick them here. Again, at the 3-point cover, their offense has been, they score when they need to, and it's not like the old Chiefs or Eagles where they just kind of hang back and score the one time. They're trying to score all game long, but they give up points and they score again. They score when they need. They score all game long and they score again, not for the first time to get these wins. So I agree with you. I think it's going to be close to the over for sure. And I'm going to pick Tampa Bay here. There's no reason to pick against them at this point, although I'm not as super confident as it seems like San Francisco is very random. Sometimes they'll beat a better team than them, like they did with the Rams, but then they'll lose to someone like the Jacksonville Jaguars, although Jacksonville's 4-1, although it's hard to say if they're a good team or not. So it's just hard it's hard to go against Baker in a one-score game, which is what they're favored at. So I agree. I think I'm picking Tampa Bay here. All right, now for some of these players here. Man, we got question marks all over the place. We got Mac Jones. Let's just start here real quick. We're kind of long on time, so let's go through this a little quicker if I can. All right, Mac Jones, not an automatic start, a streamer at best. Where do you put him in lines with Flacco, Trevor Lawrence, Sam Darnold? Why don't you rank those four guys for me if you could? Darnold, Lawrence, Flacco, and Mac Jones.
I would probably do Lawrence. I'd probably do Lawrence, Darnold, Jones, then Flacco.
So you're not looking to play Jones then?
Yeah, no, I'm not looking to play Jones. But he's a QB2 streamer, like you said. He just needs to get that ball out quick and let his playmakers do their thing.
All right, we got McCaffrey's an automatic start, having a tough go in the run game, but he's getting 8 to 10 catches a week. He's making his hay in the receiving game here. I expect Vita Vea to stuff the middle there, but he's going to have the ability to do what he's been doing on the edges. All right, Pearsall, Jennings. Pearsall's probably not going to play. Jennings is maybe. Regardless, would you play these guys if they were going to play? I'm kind of leaning towards no because they're so banged up.
Yeah, no. McCaffrey's the only play there, I think, personally. I don't think the 49ers have the definite answer where they can rely on, the player name to get the job done. So it's too risky as far as fantasy goes. So I would say McCaffrey is just the sure thing out of that squad.
And let's just finish this thought out here. We got these guys who've been stepping up, and especially Kendrick Bourne. These are the healthy guys. DeMarcus Robinson, Kendrick Bourne. I mean, Bourne's been the go-to guy ever since Mac Jones has come in. Are you looking to try and find?
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's a boomer bust flex there. So if you're desperate, there's only 2 teams on bye though, so not too many desperate people there. But yeah, Bourne would be the go-to there for me. Like you said earlier in the show. He's just got that chemistry with Mac Jones.
And then Tongas, he's scoring touchdowns almost every week. Are you willing to take another dart throw at Tongas, or is it just too risky of a play here for your back end tight end?
Yeah, too risky for me.
All right, moving over to the Tampa Bay side, Mayfield, automatic start. Rashad White I'm assuming if Bucky Irving misses, which that's what we're assuming at this point. Rashad White, he played for you last week, came through with a big game. Probably going to do it again. I would say he's earned himself to be an automatic start while he has the role to himself. Do you agree or not? You can tell me what you think there.
RB2, RB2 flex for Rashad White. I think he's good to go to poised to have a good game. Definitely further than the floor, maybe not quite to the ceiling, but definitely off the floor.
All right, we got Emeka Egbuka is a stud, man. You're playing him every week, the time, especially when these receivers are banged up with Evans.
Set it and forget it.
There you go. All right, now the ancillary parts here. Godwin's been banged up, also been not very effective. He's been on the field, but again, coming off a major injury from last year. Godwin, Sterling Sharp, are we playing these guys in any capacity at all?
Yeah, Godwin, you could get Godwin into a flex spot. Sterling Sharp, I would stay clear of.
And then Cade Otton, depending
on your league and how your roster is set up. Cade Otton, I would start Cade Otton as a low grade tight end.
Yeah, I think Cade Otton's a play with Evans out, and with Evans and Godwin out, I think he's a automatic. Like you have to play him if there's the two main receivers are out, you have to play him. I think.
Yep.
All right, moving on to our third game here, the last game of the week. We have the Chicago Bears heading over to the Washington Commanders. That is a 8:15 p.m. start Eastern time on Monday night. The over-under on this game is a little bit higher. I told you it might be fireworks here, 49.5. Washington is a home favorite at 4.5 points. Now, how do you think this game's going to go? Do you think Washington will win or cover or neither?
Yeah, I think that They'll hit the over. I think the Commanders will win 28, Bears 24. I think that this could turn, and like you said, into the fantasy game of the week here. Jaden Daniels returns healthy against a vulnerable Bears defense, especially to especially to a mobile quarterback. Caleb Williams is coming off a bye, so he's rested. Hopefully, he got a couple reps in this week with DJ Moore, because that's going to be the key to open up the whole offense. Opens up the run game, opens up more passes to Rome, your best bud. So I think we should get ready for a shootout. But I think the Commanders can overcome with Jane Daniels coming back.
All right. Yeah, I've heard other shows out there talking about they're curious, since the Bears had a bye last week, have they gone back to the lab to try and find ways to get DJ Moore more involved? I know you're asking for it, so you'll find out. We'll find out if they fine-tune some of their offense, if they're even trying to or not. I think we'll know right away the outlook for the rest of the season for Moore, if it's going to be a Dunze by himself.
Yeah, we'll find
All right,
out.
so,
hopefully not.
Yeah. All right, Caleb Williams. He's where would you consider him better than the Lawrence Darnold guy players, or is he in that same range of back of streaming type starts?
No, he's up there. He's a QB1 with upside for me. He's averaging almost 20 points per game. So he's up there. He's in the top 10 for me. So, and this could be a career hinge point for Caleb coming off the bye in Ben Johnson's offense, already showing that he can produce, that he needs to come out strong.
All right. Swift has been not overwhelmingly good, but like I said, he's been really good in the receiving game for them, and he's catching those line drives that Caleb Williams throws. I think Swift has earned, I don't know if running back 2 might be a little too high. Honestly, he probably has, but at least that flex, he's in that 19 to 26 range, locked in, and with the potential to be a little higher. Do you have Swift as an automatic play this week?
No, I don't have him as an automatic play until they get DJ Moore going. DJ Moore will open up everything for them, especially the middle of the field. If the middle of the field can get open, then Swift is going to excel even more. So I don't have him as an automatic start until I see DJ Moore be the wide receiver 1 he should be.
All right, well, let's ask the question. Do you think DJ Moore, I know what you want, but do you think it'll happen? Is DJ Moore going to be on your bench one more week while you have other people going, or you putting him in and seeing how it goes? What's your thoughts here? I know you're a little torn last week. I think you lost because of that choice last week.
Let's just say this. I think both Rome and DJ Moore are both wide receiver 2s. I think that my head, my brain is telling me, yes, Ben Johnson is trying to drill this in. How dense is Caleb Williams? How much does he just revert back to instinct and get the ball to Rome? So I have Rome. I have DJ Moore slightly ahead of Rome Odunze. If I had both of them on my team, my head would say play DJ Moore, but my heart, my gut would say Rome Odunze, because I don't trust Caleb that much.
I'm going to ask you straight up, are you playing DJ Moore or Darren Waller?
No, probably Darren Waller.
All right, and finishing off with the Bears here, they got the tight end, Croskey-Merrit, with Colston Loveland. I think he's still out. Honestly, I didn't get an update because they were on bye last week. He did miss the prior game. When they both play, I'm not looking to play either of them. Komet does get a bump when Loveland is out. What are you thinking about Komet? Is he let's put him with Tungus, the range of Tungus. Is he that back end streamer, or is he just someone not even worth mentioning?
Yeah, he's a back end streamer. He could be worth mentioning again with DJ Moore getting activated.
It all boils down to DJ Moore, I guess.
It does, because DJ Moore is the guy that you're not sending a roam across the field. DJ Moore can do everything. He can go deep. He can go across the field. Once they get him moving, then the defense is like, okay, we have to account for this guy because he could be going back. We need to drop back in coverage a little bit more. That's going to open up your tight ends coming off of the edge for little short first downs. That's going to open up Swift in the middle. Like, there's so much happening when DJ Moore gets going.
All right.
So as of now, though, Komet is at that level where I'm not too worried about it. I'm low end tight end too.
Gotcha. All right, moving to the other side of the ball, Jaden Daniels is a must-start. Croskey-Merrit, after his breakout game last week, was not splitting time like he was the 2 previous weeks. I think that was due to being just coming off an injury and not being fully healthy. Can you think Croskey-Merrit can repeat, maybe not to the exact level, but in that range, can he repeat his output from last week?
Yeah, he can get close. I think he's found it. It's his time. He's getting ready to do his thing.
I mean, there had to be a reason why they were so willing to trade away Brian Robinson. They must love this rookie here taking over.
I agree.
All right, we got McLaurin's probably out. Debo has been very consistent, mostly due to his touchdowns. Has a touchdown in 4 of the 5 games. Last week almost got to the 100-yard mark. He's usually right around that 60 to 80 yards combination from receiving and rushing. I don't think it even matters if McLaurin plays for Debo because he's a different part of the offense, but it doesn't hurt to have a McLaurin off there to be more of a lead receiver. I think I have Debo. He's my best receiver so far, so I can't trade him, even though he'd be the guy I would trade if I had more faith in someone like A.J. Brown and Nico Collins. He'd be the guy I'd be trying to sell high on, but I actually need all the points he's been giving me, so I can't even do that right now. What do you think about Debo? Is he an auto start? For me, he is, but of course, I've got a very weak team.
For this game, I think he is for this game. I think that the Chicago defense is a little bit more vulnerable than the average team. So I think Debo is okay. Must start.
All right, we got 2 guys here. I'm going to put them. I'm not going to worry about their positions here. You've been mentioning it over and over again. Are these stashes? Or are you finally going to try and get them in your lineup? McCaffrey and Ertz, who just had a goose last week.
I would try to get Ertz in this game. McCaffrey, I'm still waiting. My issue with McCaffrey is I want him on my team, but I don't want him in my starting lineup yet. But Ertz, yeah, I would go ahead and start Ertz as a tight end 1. Pick him up to stream him. I think he's fine.
All right, guys. Moving along to our next segment here. It is time to see who's playing who in this week's matchups.
This week's matchup.
All right, Perny, why don't you go through our fantasy leagues matchups this week and let me know what you got here.
Okay, sorry. Hold on here.
Or do you want me to tee it up? I'll tee him up. We got it. Sorry, my fault. All right, we got Michael's Amazing Spidey coming at 1-4 up against Reggie's Lionize, who's also 1-4, but coming off his first victory of the season. What do you have on this matchup of bottom basement dwellers here? The loser is going to be done for the year, and the winner has a sparkle of hope to maybe turn around their season.
Yeah, I think this one's going to come down to the starters. We got Amazing Spidey's sitting on Drake May, Breece Hall, A.J. Brown, and Lionize is sitting with Matthew Stafford, Quinshon Judkins, and Emeka Egbuka. Man, I'm going to get that. So I would just go ahead and put the flag up for Lionize for this one. I'm sorry, Amazing Spidey.
No, I agree.
His starting 3 just seems a little bit better than your starting 3.
I agree. All right, moving on to our next battle here. We have Paul's Cubert Rage at 2-3 up against Nick's Waddle Away at 2-3. Paul started the season off at 0-3, has won 2 in a row to get to this spot here. Nick's Waddle Away has been back and forth, but has been decimated by injuries. It's going to be tough going for him going forward here. What do you have on this matchup?
Yeah, so this one's kind of interesting. I'm going to look at the Bills players and I'm going to look at the Dolphins players. Cubert Rage is a huge Bills fan, and he has Jalen Waddle on his team and Dalton Kincaid on his team. And so I think that is going to be definitely a Kincaid game, and we'll find out why later. And then on Waddle Away, he's a huge Dolphin fan, and he has Hunter Henry, a New England player, Ramondre Stevens, a New England player, and Malik Washington. So I think that I'm going to give this edge to Cubert's Rage because I think Dalton Kincaid is going to have a bigger day, and Jalen Waddle will have a bigger day than Malik Washington and Ramondre Stevens and Hunter Henry.
He's got Malik Washington in his lineup right now. Waddle Away does.
He sure does.
Oh my! Again, he's ravaged by injury. But that's a tough play. All right, moving on to our next game. Ben's Fire Billy Napier, ever since the name change, has been on fire. Was the highest scoring team last week. He had everyone in his Mecha Studs. I know because I was watching him score against me. At 3-2 is Ben's Fire Billy Napier, but up against one of our best teams in the league. Brian's under 40 at 4-1. This is a huge matchup between two teams with strong records.
Yeah, so this is going to be close. I'm going to say that this one is going to come down to the Monday night game between Washington and Chicago. Washington defense is on Fire Billy's team, and Matt Gay, the Washington kicker, is on under 40's team. So whoever has the bigger game out of those two positions, and I'm going to go with the kicker. So I'm going to give it to under 40 just because of Matt Gay.
All right, this is an interesting matchup here, not in terms of record. We have Andrew's Crazy Fish, our last winless team at 0-5, was a lowest scoring team last week. It's been having a tough go, making some tough decisions and a tough roster with the last pick in a 14-team league. Up against Jimerson's Red Sox Nation. These guys met 3 times last year where Crazy Fish won all 3, including knocking out Red Sox Nation from the playoffs and ending his bid for a 4th consecutive championship. Thank you, Crazy Fish. At least you did that for us. But this one's going to be tough going for Crazy Fish in terms of this season. What do you have on this matchup?
Yeah, so obviously there's one player that has already played, Saquon Barkley for the Red Sox Nation, and he got under 10 points. When I did this little preview write-up here that I have, I didn't see that. So what I said, I'm going to take that out. Saquon Barkley didn't score yet. Red Sox Nation has Josh Allen on his team, and Crazy Fish has Dak Prescott on his team. These are 2 high potent fantasy quarterbacks here. So I'm going to say this is a quarterback matchup. Which quarterback do I think will win this matchup? Unfortunately, I have to say Josh Allen. He's playing Monday night. He's playing against Atlanta. Atlanta's defense is sometimes good, sometimes not good. So I'm going to give this win to Red Sox Nation. Sorry, Crazy Fish. I think Dak Prescott is going to give him a run for his money playing against Carolina, but we saw Carolina's defense show up out of the blue and shut down some decent offenses. So, Josh Allen, you get the win for Red Sox Nation.
All right, our last 3 games on the list are all winning record teams, with Alex's They Took Our Jobs up against Ken's The Fantastics, both at 3-2. Who is going to stay in the winning record and who's going to fall to 500?
So this one, I'm going to look at the starters for this one. We got Baker Mayfield for They Took Our Jobs. We got Baker Mayfield. We've got Jahmyr Gibbs, and we have a little controversy here of Stephon Diggs or Jacoby Myers as the starting wide receiver for this team, which is pretty good. On the other side, we have Jalen Hurts, who I've already seen score. We have J.K. Dobbins, and we have Devonta Smith, who I've already seen scored. So based on what I've already seen, I'm going to give this one to They Took Our Jobs. I think Baker Mayfield, Gibbs, and Jacoby Myers will put up more points than the Hurts, Dobbins, and Smith.
All right, our next battle's up. Katie's King George at 3-2 versus Bernie's Team B at 3-2. You're still the highest scoring team in the league, but you were on a 2-game losing streak. This last one was our closest game of the week at a 4-point differential. Even though you had 111 points, it wasn't quite good enough. Are you going to come back? Are you going to have a third loss in a row? What do you have on this matchup?
Yeah, I might get the 3rd loss in a row. This is going to come down to Kenneth Walker. Okay, so this one, looking at the starters. Team B, Jared Goff, Jonathan Taylor, Amon-Ra St. Brown, right? Great starters. Great starters. Other side, King George, Kyler Murray, Bijan Robinson, and Cortland Sutton. She also has Quentin Johnson, so I could put him instead of Cortland Sutton as the starting wide receiver there. So just looking at that, I would say it's a pretty close matchup. Edge goes to Team B. Team B should get the win. But I've already seen the score for Thursday night's game, and Cam Scattaboo put up a 30-burger for King George. Cam Scattaboo's going against Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker has to do something. Something, Kenneth Walker. Please. You don't have to score 30. That's why I have Jonathan Taylor and Amon-Ra, but something.
All right, that's going to be a tough uphill battle here. You're still in good shape in terms of your overall points, but the win-loss records has come back down to earth since your 3-0 start.
Yeah. So I'm going to give this to King George, though, just based on that.
Yeah, Our last game here is Corey's May Daddy 2. Similar to you, Bernie, started out 3-0, but has now lost 2 games in a row up against Jeff's Always Right, who is always right at 5-0, our only undefeated team left. I don't know about the projections, but this is going to be an interesting game.
Yeah, so this one, I'm going to tell you right off the bat, I'm giving it to Always Right, Never Wrong until May Daddy changes his lineup here. I don't know what is going on. I know what's going on, but he needs to just double check everything. He's got Brock Purdy in, which is a little bit of a concern for me. Let me look at his bench real fast here.
He did pick up Mac Jones, so he's got that ready to go one way or the other.
Okay, that's what I was looking for. So this will be close. He does have a good team, but I can't bet against always right, never wrong, because he's got Patrick Mahomes, Josh Jacobs, Puka Nacua, Marvin Harrison Jr., and then a couple other guys. And the other side, we're looking at Brock Purdy as of now, James Cook, JSN, and then that's really it. Jamar Chase has not come alive yet. Calvin Ridley is up and down. Jameson Williams is fading. Tesla. I can't say the guy's name. How do you say that guy's name?
Tesla.
Yes, yeah, is coming up, and I think that's why Jameson is slipping down. So I'm going to give this one to always right, never wrong.
All right. Let's see which teams have moved up in the newest power rankings after all of the standings have gone through from last week and the projections have been updated. It's now time to take a look at our updated power rankings.
I have the power!
By the power of Grayskull.
I'm living in it, no one man should have all that power.
Wingman Power Rankings.
All right, we have our updated power rankings here. Our top 4 are still the same, but they've moved the order a little bit here. And our bottom, we have some movement on the bottom here. Our last 2 teams are about actually, why don't you go through here, Bernie? What do you have for our top 4 teams here? How have they shifted around?
All right, yeah, top 4, we've got always right, never wrong, staying in the top spot again. But here's the flop. Team B goes from 2 to 3, and I'll take the under 40, goes from 3 to 2. Fantastic stays at the 4 spot. So that's all just about right. And then down at the bottom here is where the movement has happened. Lionized has jumped from the 14 spot to the 12 spot. Good job, Lionized. Amazing Spidey stays at 13, but Crazy Fish falls from 11 down to 14. And Fire Billy is coming into that top 10. He's in the top 10 now from 12 to 10. Good job.
All right. Let's see what's our next segment here. It is time to get into this week's starts of the week. Bring it in. Take a knee. Who wants in?
Oh, pick me! Oh, I know, me!
All right, son. Don't let me down. You're in.
Wingman Fantasy Football. Starts of the week.
All right, before we pick week 6 starts of the week, let's do a quick review from our last week's starts of the week. Coming in to week number 5, we were 9-13 as a duo, where I was 5-6. Bernie was 4-7. Bernie, why don't you let us in on who you had for your quarterback, running back, and wide receiver starts of the week for last week?
For last week, okay. Last week I had Mr. Jackson Dart coming in as QB, Woody Marks as the running back, and Quentin Johnson as my wide receiver.
And how did they perform? I think you only had one guy who overperformed as I see it.
I am 1-2 this week. Jackson Dart hit was well over his projection, 21 points compared to his 16. The other 2 missed their marks by a lot. So Woody Marks, just going to call you Woody Johnson if you're going to play like that. And Quentin Johnston, I'm just going to call you Quentin missed his marks. That's just the way it goes.
All right, All right, no one's gonna believe me. I was honestly thinking about switching it to Rico Dowdle before the show, but because I didn't pick it the Thursday, I didn't want to have like 2 people where I'd be like, I'm half right, so I stuck with Scadaboo. But nonetheless, I had Jared Goff at my quarterback, projected at 16.9, came through with a 22.3, got a green mark there. Cam Scadaboo was projected at 13.4, and he scored 13.4 last week, so he was a push, not right, not wrong. And Ladd McConkey needed a touchdown, but he finally got it. Projected at 11, came through with a 12.4. So last week I was 2-0 as 2 wins and 1 push. Bernie was 1-2. After week 5, our numbers as a show was 12-15, where I improved back to 7-6. Bernie fell to 5-9. All right, now it's time to pick our starts of the week for week number 6. Bernie, why don't you give me your quarterback start of the week?
All right, for my quarterback, week 6 start is going to be Mr. Sam Darnold, projected at 15.68 points.
I like that. That's a one, I think it's a decent play, but the projection is a very nice number to try and outbid here, so that's good. I'm going to go with Matthew Stafford. Again, a very low projection in my opinion at 16.5. We got Stafford's playing against the Baltimore Ravens, and the Ravens give up the second most points to the quarterback position as they can't stop anybody. All right, Bernie, who is your running back start of the week?
Ooh, I got a little sneaky guy here. Just J.K. Dobbins. He's projected at 10.33 points.
All right, I'm going with Croskey-Merrit. I don't like picking guys to go back to back after a big game like that, but their matchup is still too good. They're playing against the Chicago Bears, who give up the second most points to the running back position. So, and he's only projected for 10.6. Not only that's solid, but he had 28 points last week. If he gets in the end zone one time, he's going to crush that. So I've got Ja'Cory Croskey-Merrit as my running back start of the week. What do you got for your receiver start of the week this week?
Oh, I see a trend developing with you with the defenses that they're going up against here. For my wide receiver, I did a wide receiver tight end slash. I did Mr. Jake Ferguson at 8.93 points. I know it's a little risky with that tight end there, but I think that he is going to get the ball.
Yeah, projected at 8.9 points. I don't know if you paid attention or not on our last show because he was in a start. It was on a Fire Billy Napier's team who made the featured games. He's had 4 straight games over 12 points. So he's hitting that mark over and over and over again.
Yep.
All right, my wide receiver start of the week is King Tedero McMillan. It's about time he gets in the end zone. They're playing against the Dallas Cowboys, and Bernie says I go for these defenses. The Dallas Cowboys give up the most points to the wide receiver position. McMillan is projected at 12.4. Not an easy number to hit, but not too outlandish. As long as he gets in the end zone for the first time this year, he should be able to crush that as well. All right, guys, it is now time for my favorite Friday morning, and it should be yours. It's time for a 4th and long with Bernie.
This measurement could determine the Giants'
It is time for 4th and long
with Bernie.
All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to 4th and Long. I'm Bernie, and this is the segment where we take football, shake it up with a little bit of life, sprinkle in some pop culture, and see what falls out. If you're new here, we keep it light, we keep it real, and we keep it moving. So this week, we're talking about comebacks, not the I'll get back to you with that kind, the I refuse to lose kind. Week 5 gave us 6 double-digit comebacks, the most in 1 week since 2013. And I've got thoughts, so let's get into it here. Week 5 was historic. 6 teams came back from double-digit deficits to win. This season alone, we've had 17 games decided by a go-ahead score in the final minute of regulation, the most through 5 weeks since the AFL and NFL merger in 1970. At this rate, we're all going to have heart disease by Thanksgiving. But there's the thing about comebacks. They're not just about football. What do Trevor Lawrence stumbling to the ground, the Titans ending a 10-game losing streak, and your Monday morning have in common? They're all about the comeback. So let's get started with the gold standard. January 3rd, 1993, Buffalo Bills versus the Houston Oilers. Wildcard playoff game. By the third quarter, the Oilers were up 35-3. The Bills' starting quarterback, Jim Kelly, was injured. Backup Frank Reich was in the game and had just thrown an interception that was returned for a touchdown. A Houston radio announcer famously said, "The lights are on here at Rich Stadium, but they've been on since this morning. You could pretty much turn them out on the Bills right now." And that aged like milk in Buffalo winter. Bills fans started leaving, just getting in their cars, driving home. The game wasn't even on TV in Buffalo because it hadn't sold out. But people listened on the radio. And when they heard what was happening, the comeback, they drove back to the stadium and climbed over fences to get back in. The Bills won 41-38 in overtime, 32 points, the largest comeback in NFL playoff history. Frank Reich threw four touchdown passes in the second half. Steve Christie nailed a 32-yard field goal in overtime. Absolute madness. Now here's the kicker, and I mean this literally and figuratively. Reich held that comeback record for 29 years. Then in 2022, he's the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts, and the Minnesota Vikings come back from 33 points down to beat his team. Reich was on the losing end of that record being broken. That's not irony. That's personal. But that's the thing about comebacks. They're never really over. The lesson keeps showing up, which brings us to last week. Trevor Lawrence, Monday night, 38 seconds left in the game. Jaguars down 3 to the Chiefs. Lawrence takes a snap, and his own center, John Monheim, trips him. Lawrence goes down, face plant, and somehow he still gets into the end zone for the game-winning touchdown. Nothing says, I refuse to lose, like scoring a touchdown from the seated position. Here's what people forget, though. Lawrence wasn't perfect that game. He fumbled at the goal line earlier, threw an interception near his own end zone, got called for a delay of game twice. The Jaguars were down 14-0 in the first half, but they kept playing. The Chiefs? They're now 0-3 in one-score games this season. Patrick Mahomes threw a 99-yard pick-six to the Jaguars linebacker, Devin Lloyd. Kansas City committed 13 penalties for 109 yards. The two-time defending Super Bowl champions looked mortal. Okay, the Titans, they were down 21-6 in the fourth quarter against Arizona. They hadn't won since December 1st of last year. 10 straight losses. Then the Cardinals running back, Amare DiMarcado, takes a handoff, runs 72 yards, and drops the ball before crossing the goal line. Touchback, Titans ball. 72 yards, 6 inches from glory, 0 points. But Tennessee drove 80 yards and won 22-21. They didn't create that break. The universe just handed it to them. But they had to execute afterwards, and they did. The Panthers were down 17-0 to Miami. Backup running back Rico Dowdle stepped in and won the game. The Buccaneers have won 4 straight. Everyone decided in the final minute. First team in NFL history to start the season that way. You see the pattern? None of these teams did it perfectly. They just did it. Next play, then the next one. Small wins stacking up until the clock says they're ahead. Why it matters here. In your life, you've been there. Behind at work, relationship on the rocks, the project going sideways, your fantasy team down 40 points on Sunday night. We've all been there. The question isn't whether you're down. It's whether you stay in the game when logic says to quit. Because nobody remembers the team that led wire to wire. They remember 28-3 in the Super Bowl. They remember Oilers blowing a 32-point lead. They remember fans climbing fences to witness a miracle. Greatness isn't measured by what came easy. It's measured by what you overcome. The promotion that you got after being passed over 3 times, the degree you finished while working full-time, the relationship you fought for when everyone said to walk away, the conversation you had when your voice was shaking but you said it anyway, that's the stuff that defines you. Week 5 taught us that no lead is safe in 2025. It wasn't safe in 1993, and it's not safe now. The shift isn't complicated. Stop asking, am I too far behind? And start asking, what's my next play? You don't need to be Jim Kelly. Frank Wright works just fine. You don't need to be a star. You just need to be in the game. And here's the beautiful, brutal truth about Frank Reich and those 93 Bills. They pulled off the greatest playoff comeback in history, made the Super Bowl that year, lost. Made it again the next year, lost that one too. 3rd and 4th straight Super Bowls, losses. So the comeback isn't about the ending being perfect. It's about refusing to quit when every logical person would. Now, as we head into week 6, remember this. 17 games have been decided in the final minutes this season. The scoreboard at halftime has meant absolutely nothing. So whether you're facing this week, the deadlines that's too tight, the conversation you've been avoiding, the goal that feels impossible, the comeback isn't just about winning. It's about proving to yourself you still can. even if you trip over your own center. Well, that's your 4th and long for week 6. If you've got a comeback story of your own, football or life, drop it in the comments. I'm Bernie, and I'll see you next week.
All right, very good, very good. I actually remember that Oilers. That's how old I am, I guess. I remember watching that Oilers Bills game. That was a big time one. Warren Moon was the quarterback for the Oilers, and it looked like that was over. And then all of a sudden, and if I recall, I believe Frank Reich, who was the backup that year, came in. But he also had the biggest comeback in college as the backup for Boomer Esiason for the Maryland Terrapins.
Did he really? Is he part of
so.
3 massive comebacks? Oh, I got to look that one up.
I felt like that was said before. I mean, I don't remember. I wasn't old enough to remember the college game because at that point he's already in the league for 10 years in the NFL. But I'm pretty sure at that point he had the largest college football comeback and the largest, pro football comeback. And then you mentioned later as the coach had the comeback loss.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty awesome.
All right, guys, we are now moving along to this week's Wingman Jam. We're in the final week of phase number 2, where the winner after this will earn themselves seat number 2 into the Showcase Showdown in a mano-a-mano battle up against Andrew F. to earn themselves some Wingman Fantasy Football swag. So let's get into this week's Wingman Jam.
Wingman Fantasy Football.
Wingman Jam. With Bernie the Bounty Hunter and Amazing Spidey. Shaka. Buffalo Bills. Carolina Panthers. Buffalo! All right, Bernie, you've selected the Buffalo Bills with Kincaid and Josh Allen, while I've got with the Carolina Panthers, Rico Dowdle and Tedero McMillan. This is going to be an interesting battle here. I'm going with the Panthers here, who don't seem to score, but we're going for it this week. What do you think about this matchup?
Well, I think that I'm okay, but this is the first time I've ever picked NFC East team, not the Dolphins, to win something. So fingers crossed, Dalton, Kincaid. Josh, Dalton, please make it happen.
All right. All right, good luck to all of the other players who join out. Austin's trying to earn his seat there. Let's see if he can get it or not. All right, now it's time to get into this week's mailbag.
You've got mail.
You've got mail.
Wingman Fantasy Football.
Mailbag! All right. This one comes in from Timbo Slice. I appreciate you holding down the fort, Mike, and Austin did a great job on the 2-point conversation. But in all honesty, the show just isn't simply the same without Bernie. Love you, Bernie. You got a huge fan here in Timbo Slice. I can't agree anymore. I know it was scheduling things, and we do these. We fit these in the best we can with our work and life schedules here, so they don't always line up. But we missed you having on the show the last couple of days, and I'm glad you're back.
Thanks, Timbo. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. Thank you, Austin. You did a great job. That's nice. That it makes my heart warm.
All right, guys. I want to let you guys in on coming in the next week and a half. We might have some different scheduling here, as we are going to have a big beer tent party for a belated Oktoberfest. And in doing so, I've got to break down my entire studio to set up that. So we might do some sort of live stream or a special Saturday recording and get it out on Sunday. So we're not sure how these 2-point conversation is going to go out in week number 7. But through week 6 here, we will be all systems go. Just kind of giving you a heads up. There might be a little different format for week number 7. With that being said, guys, I want to thank you all so very much for joining us for another edition of Wingman Fantasy Football, the League podcast. Don't forget, you can find our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn Radio, YouTube Music, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and the Odyssey app. When you find us on your platform of choice, just search for Wingman the League, and we'll come to the top your search. While you're there, do us the favor and give us a rating. 5 stars are preferred. And if you want to see our beautiful faces, our spooky, spooky bar room, and all of our glitching graphics, you can find us on our YouTube page at wingmanfantasyfootball.com/YouTube or youtube.com/@wingmanfantasyfootball. When you guys get there, do me the favor, hit that like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Let me know which tandems you want for your Wingman Jam teams. Don't forget, your points will roll over if you don't make the Showcase Showdown, so don't worry about that part. Just start playing and earn the points and join in on the fun. All right, guys, with that being said, may your glasses be full, your mugs stay frosty.
And remember, when you think you're down, you're not out. You're just on the ground.
Unless you're 1-4 and you're starting Kamani Vidal. All right, guys, good luck.